world premiere to close out Global Stage Hollywood 2024. So how about a round of applause for the world premiere? Thank you. We're so pleased to bring up to the stage Kwok Hansen from Anytrends, Anime Trending. I still don't know which one that is, but he says both. Anyway, Kwok has been our partner for a couple of years. By the way, Madison, our fantastic volunteer or intern from Emerson College, literally found Global Stage Hollywood because she found out about us from last year's world premiere, Paradox Live, which Kwok also partnered with us on. So that's actually how we got our fantastic volunteer, Madison. So for those of you in the audience, if you guys want to get involved with us, we do intend to continue on with Kwok as long as he's happy. So anyway, those are the kind of connections we'd like to make. But we will do a little bit of a Q&A now between myself and Kwok. So I will give a chance for you guys for your questions as well.
Jet lag. I just came back from Japan, so if I slur words, I promise I'm not drunk.
Yeah, I'm slurring words as well, but it's the end of the festival. Anyway, I want to give you guys as much chance for questions as possible, so I'll just throw out a couple quickly to Kwok. Number one, I know from discussing with you, there's a rather interesting backstory on how this anime came about, and you know it very well, so why don't you let the crowd know?
Sure. For those who are familiar with Kadokawa, they've produced all kinds of anime and films for the last 10 plus years. One of my first shows with them was No Game No Life. If you recently watched Oshinoko or Delicious in Dungeon, those are the two big projects we worked with Kadokawa. And the meeting, I think, was maybe not even a month ago. I brought up that we last year were able to bring Paradox Live at the animation. Any of you came for that? Oh, a few of you. Okay,
wow.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that one was a unique one because the show, episode 1 just came out on Crunchyroll, and then we were able to get episode 2 world premiere during that event, bringing up about this film festival and how a lot of anime publishers and studios like Kadokawa want to do more activities. Make a Girl was brought up, and with 5 days ago, they gave us the green light to make this happen, because originally the one in Tokyo would have been the world premiere, but they were okay with having America, essentially Los Angeles, having the world premiere for Make a Girl. And that's where we are at that. And I told them how the screening went. They seem pretty happy, so hopefully we'll get more exciting stuff. As Kadokawa's been known for doing a lot of films, coming out next month, Overlord, The Sacred Kingdom, I believe is what it's called. If you watched Overlord TV anime series, this is a sequel, if I remember correctly. That's coming out next month, and that's also from Kadokawa. They've been doing a lot more film-related content. If you're watching ReZero Season 3, Episode 1 was 90 minutes, so that could have been a really fun theatrical thing. So they're definitely experimenting a lot of things. Make a Girl is a very unique project, and that's a little bit of the backstory.
Animation, actually, so maybe you'd like to talk about how, this is not exactly the traditional anime that, we usually see.
Yes. As you have noticed, it's a complete 3D CGI animation. For the clarity, I don't have much authority as Kadokawa Make a Girl. I'm just basing on the information they told me. I was not involved with this project for clarity purposes, but from what I've been told and what I've looked at as well, Gensho Yasuda came to Anime Expo. I think there's a member in the audience that interviewed them. Awesome. And they came to Anime Expo. And he's been doing a lot of CGI animation projects and submitted to a lot of awards and get a lot of attention online. On TikTok, YouTube Shorts, a lot of his projects are uploaded onto his own YouTube channel. That got picked up by Kadokawa. They really liked what he did, and they started a Kickstarter to fund this movie project, and that's what we got for Make a Girl. I need to verify this information, but I'm 90% sure all of it, if not most of it, was made on Blender, if you saw the credits. So if you're familiar with Blender, that's where it started, and Gensho Yasuda pretty much was a director, screenwriter. He did all of the work with a lot of support from all the credits, as you saw, and that's kind of what was unique about this, is their experimentation to look into 3D CGI, since that's still a kind of rocky road when it comes to it. We've had some really good ones, and I'm sure you've all maybe seen some really bad ones, not to name any, in my time in this industry, but we've had some good studios like Studio Orange that's done Beastar, Land of the Lustrous, Polygon Pictures have done stuff on Netflix. We've seen some really, really good CGI, and I think this is Kadokawa's hope to see if they could do something like that in the future as well.
So you mentioned a couple of interesting things just now with that, and again, I'm trying to kind of direct it back to the audience because I'm going to ask you guys to ask your questions after. He used social media to promote himself. He used Blender, somewhat of a democratized tool nowadays, and also Kickstarter, right? So all three of those things, in my mind, it's the end of the festival. I'm struggling myself to speak. All three of those things, in my mind, actually could point at our audience, saying, the door in 2024 is kind of opening for people to, create their own high-level anime. Maybe you have a comment on that?
Yes, we are in a very interesting era with anime, especially since all of you are here. The fact that we had this at the TCO Chinese Theater, which is known for red carpet premieres, and now we get to bring anime as one step forward. So with specific tools that you have access to at a very low cost, like Blender and whatnot, you definitely can put projects online and it can be picked up. Not related to anime, I forgot the name I was just told about. If you've been following the discussions on Twitter, X, and so forth about a Yuri series, something Bullet, I need to look it up. What was that? Look Bullet, right? Look Bullet, yes. It's a Yuri series that was actually created by an individual here, I think, in North America, that's published by Kadokawa in Japan. And it was going to be discontinued, but through social media and the author's call to action and putting out content, the first volume has sold out like crazy, and now there's all kinds of discussions that later people found out, oh, this author's pen name is Japanese, but the person's actually from America, publishing something in Japan by Kadokawa. So that was a really fascinating development, at least in the last couple of weeks. So even not just from an animation perspective, if you're into drawing or manga, who knows what the future could be in terms of that kind of content as well.
Okay, so again, I would like to turn it back to the audience, and Quack is a fantastic resource on anime and these kind of things. So are there any questions from up in the audience?
It doesn't have to be just Make a Girl. It can be about the anime industry, all kinds of stuff, Kadokawa, other series I've talked about, so go for it.
My question is, since the movie got greenlit to be shown here in the US before Japan, were the subtitles done really fast? Because I imagine you're not going to be having subtitles in the actual premiere in Japan.
Yes, that was provided by Kadokawa, very last minute. I think I proved this. It's been nice that they ask people who are from America to prove their English. They do hire translators, interpreters to translate in Japan, and then it gets proofread. This trailer, I know I reviewed that for the subtitles, but yes, this was from Kadokawa's side that they provided, which is actually quite a rarity. If you watch shows on Netflix, Crunchyroll, Amazon, it's usually subtitled by them. So this is kind of that rare instance where on the Japanese side, they actually provided the subtitles and the resources for this premiere as well. So that is correct. It was a very rare opportunity to have that already available for this premiere as well. And I believe the one in Japan, which is TIFCOM, or TIFF, the Tokyo International Film Festival, is also international film festival, so there are people outside of Japan attending, so that might also have the English subtitles. Can't confirm that, but I know that at least has a more broader audience as well. Any other questions? Yeah?
Oh. I don't know. Okay, you might not know this, but I was just wondering if they told you at all, if you heard anything. I followed this Blender project on YouTube because I tried to make an anime and it was just so insanely hard. My question is, does making it in 3D actually make it go faster to make, or is it the same amount of work but just with different tools? Does that make sense?
Yes. To answer your question, it's complicated. Having been in the studio, are you familiar with Studio Orange, Beastar, Land of Lustrous? What else did they do? Beastar, Land of Lustrous, Trigun Stampede, BNA on Netflix, all those series. Having known the folks at Orange, it's a lot of computing power. Their studio, it's just all computers and mocaps and all kinds of tools. At times, funny enough, it takes way longer to produce than a traditional anime, which can range from 2 years or so. Projects of Orange, you see that comes out every couple of years, so sometimes even for CGI, it can take longer as well. For this project, I'm not too sure. Hopefully the interview that we'll get from Kensho Yasuda will talk about it, I'm not sure, or in the future, that's definitely a question I like to ask. But from my understanding, it definitely varies. But for this project, it's hard to tell. But at least traditionally, what I've seen with a lot of 3D CGI anime, it does take years and years to make, and sometimes longer than a traditional anime. Okay, 2, oh, 3. I'll do the one in the front. Glasses? Yeah.
Hello.
We have a mic if you want one as well.
Oh, sure. Oh, thank you very much. So it sounds like you just said, you came back from Japan. I assume that wasn't your first trip to Japan?
Correct.
Okay, so can you speak a little bit about what your personal experience, just your perspective on like how anime is perceived in Japan as opposed to, here?
Oh, received in Japan.
Yeah.
That's a really good question, since I've always perceived it as a fan and viewer outside of Japan,
Yeah.
visiting Japan. But in Japan, it's pretty much every day, everywhere. If you go on the JR Yamanote, the trains, metros, even the Tokyo Tower, Tokyo Skytree, they do collaborations all the time. Jujutsu Kaisen, Delicious in Dungeon, Oshinoko. You go to a mall in Ikebukuro where they're selling Gucci bags, and on the 8th floor there's an Oshinoko collaboration next to Chikuwa. Like, that's just how prevalent anime is. I think it's more manga than anime at times. You will see salaryman, teachers, kids reading manga on the train. It's pretty hilarious seeing that happen next to you while also being in the industry, but it's just consumed very relatively. You ask anyone, they're pretty much familiar with anime and manga if you go to Japan. Now, they might not be as into it like us, who we might be watching, 10 shows, 20 shows, maybe more per year. Definitely, maybe you won't see that every day in Japan, but they do consume a lot of anime and manga, and it's just part of the culture. And you can just pretty much go anywhere and there'll be something related to the anime or manga. Or even last year, the Kanda Shrine, if you are familiar with Love Live, that shrine had a collaboration with Oshinoko where you could get a special ticket with Ai in like a shrine outfit. So there's all kinds of crazy things that you see that happens in Japan.
I would just want to add, like, somewhat conversely, I think Japanese people are kind of interested and fascinated why Americans are so interested in anime. Like, that is very interesting to them because it's been very normal in Japan for many years, and they're like, oh wow, and now it's so popular in the US. Why?
Yeah, we get that a lot. One of the upcoming series, Batman vs. Yakuza League, is going to be an anime series based off Batman and the Justice League fighting Yakuza, pretty much. I'm not sure how it will do. It's a film as well coming out next year, and they did a panel at New York Comic Con last month in October. And one of the big questions, a lot of what I got while I was in Japan was, what do Americans think about a Western comic or a non-Japanese series getting an anime? So we're even opening that kind of questions. And yes, they're very fascinated with what makes this anime popular, or what do Americans and non-Japanese people like about anime, and why is it so popular now as well?
Thank you.
You can just question up there. Your hand was, yes, with the bracelet. Thank you.
Wow.
Please don't trip. I'll do my best.
I appreciate you calling my watch a bracelet, but that's
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You actually mentioned that this is actually a new era for anime, and because 3D anime has been like in its past, it's been like around like a murky line in terms of being good and bad, mostly towards the latter. But with this movie, Make a Girl, and the way how it's actually made, what would you think, or what would you say that this could be a new stepping stone for new 3D anime to actually gain a more favorable attention for 3D anime to make for in the future? A TV show and movies alike.
Personally speaking, it definitely does open the boundaries, but fascinatingly enough, there is a little bit of a shift back. So when a lot of the CG anime came out around 2010, 2012. So Knights of Sidonia was one that comes to mind, anything from Polygon Pictures. There's another studio that does animation projects that I'm blanking out now. They went full onto the CG side. Sola Digital Entertainment, they did the Ghost in the Shell on Netflix, Ghost in the Shell, SAC, something, I forgot what it's fully called, but if you look up Ghost in the Shell from Netflix, they also did Gridman. That studio's actually shifted more back towards mixing 2D and 3D and using 3D to kind of help supplement with that 2D animation. And a lot of studios are looking at 3D to help them with 2D as well. And we've seen some awkward things in the back, I'm sure, like Bad Fire animation or Crazy Bears, without naming certain series. So there is that balance of trying to use 3D in 2D, and in order to get good at that, it's using a lot of 3D, such as Make a Girl, which we have, is fully 3D CG anime. So as we do more of that, I think that will actually improve also regular anime. Will we get more of it? That definitely does depend on the appetite and interest. We'll find out in January when this comes out in Japan as well, and whomever does release it worldwide after January. With the rise of streaming like Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus, who are very interested in a lot of anime films, they might be open to that kind of idea of something more being on the CG side. So yeah, we could see that, but it also helps in terms of what's traditionally being made as well too, in terms of our 2D anime that we all are very familiar with as well.
So remember that, guys, January, and it is November 3rd, so your eyes are seeing something very special. Very special.
January 31st, I found out, 2025 in Japan. Great question. Any other additional questions? I saw there are two are, you're close to this side, so do that and you do next. Awesome. On the left, I think it was a hat. Yes, with the glasses.
Yeah, so, well, the first thing I would want to add is that when you said about the last guy who talked about the question, this somehow puzzled me because I'm the one who's wearing necklace this year. Yeah. Anyway, so sorry. So there's one scene in the Make a Girl film that made me very impressed about. Is that when a boy and a girl are arguing in her bedroom that says like, I don't want you to be my girlfriend anymore, we want to be classmates. And there's a scene that's like from the boy's perspective, and the girl, when the girl is shouting and saying, no, I won't do that, the angle of the scene is moving, and it's not something I usually to see in regular anime, like 2D kind of anime, because those faces are always fixed in the screen, and people just saying stuff, and the only thing moving in the screen is their mouth. So I think that somehow is a great benefit that CGI kind of function that has done for this film. So my question is do you think like CGI is a tool for this industry in the production kind of side, or like it's in a storytelling kind of side, and if and how?
In terms of the entire production, we're definitely having whole departments. If you go to studios, they have whole departments focused on CGI, so ones that produce cars, background art, and whatnot. That already exists. And you make a good point too. Facial is always one of the toughest things to capture, and also, at least what you see with this film, there's a lot of creativity with transitions from zooming into the eyes, the way you transition from one scene to another. That's definitely still a challenge when it comes to CGI. I know CGI traditionally right now is used more for the background art or things that can be overlaid. Unless you're like UFO who's done CG, 2D. If you see some of the Ganga that they've done, that's like the best case where you use the full CGI to help mask your 2D, and then you do it pretty much all in 2D afterwards. What you see with Demon Slayer, the Fate series, and whenever they do other additional series, that's the goal, I'm sure, for a lot of studios, is having CGI help you, guide you do that, and maybe CGI itself could do the facial expressions. Unfortunately, most studios don't have that capability. It's a lot of resource, a lot of time, and a lot of people, and also trying to train 2D animators to match with that. I think that's where the challenge is, but if we can get there, then yeah, we could see that more in production. Awesome, and then the glasses?
So, as you mentioned, yeah, I had a chance to interview Mr. Yasuda at Anime Expo a couple months ago. And so my question is that prior to this premiere, did you have a chance to meet and speak with Mr. Yasuda yourself? And if so, obviously one of the main tagline, the main line for the series is they say you can power up if you have a girlfriend, or in this case, it also says you can be empowered if you have a girlfriend. And that seems to be kind of like one of the central messages in this. And if you've had a chance to talk to Mr. Yasuda, you know, was there anything specific that he mentioned before this premiere that audiences should really watch out for? Obviously, I mean, in terms of like what's for impact, so including obviously the his animation, because from when I interviewed him, like he really was passionate about like the work he did with the 3D animation.
I feel so bad because the answer is no, despite all your really good.
It's a long question for a short answer.
But given that we were able to bring this, I feel like I'll have an opportunity, and I'll definitely ask that. The nice thing being the position we are with Anime Trending, we also get to interview a lot of people, so hopefully I can ask him that question, with some credits to you as well for asking that. I wish I knew the answer as well. Short answer is no, did not get a chance to talk to him. Just watch the screener they showed me in Japan, and then here we are with this film.
Okay, we got time for one more question.
One more question. Awesome in red.
I'm napping loud. You can take a break. So with the rise of 3D animation in the industry, we're obviously at a turning point where like a lot of people are like consuming more anime here in the U.S. than ever before. The question I have is actually related to the industry as somebody from the outside looking in. Are there any concerns with how 3D animation is going to affect the industry as far as like working conditions or wages for some of the industry workers? Because we are seeing a lot of that affect us here in the States as far as like American productions go. Are those concerns still the same in Japan? And yeah.
In general, working in the anime industry is very grueling, very challenging, sometimes very low paid. That is true. Whether CG would affect that or impact it to go lower, I would say very unlikely, because you do need a very specialized skill to do CG and CGI animation, knowing Blender, Adobe, all kinds of other tools I'm probably forgetting about right now because I'm very tired. But funny enough, from the studios I visited, actually sometimes some of them, half of the staff is actually foreigners, non-Japanese. They're people from France, the Middle East, even America, in Japan, doing CG animation because they have that skill sets that a lot of Japanese people don't have as well, funny enough. So in a way, it's hard to tell what that impacts, but it is at least opening the doors to non-Japanese individuals that could potentially help with the production schedule. Would that lift everyone up? That is the hope as well too, because in an ideal world, at least personally for me, you have the animators be able to focus on certain things without doing a lot of the in-betweens and so forth that could be helped with CG, and therefore they could also maybe spend time doing other anime series or other projects as well, because they're spending a lot of time with the in-betweens, the two scenes and whatnot, and a lot of the animations of secondhand key animations. Can CG help with that? That is like the big enigma I'm sure everyone's looking at. But at least right now, most of the CGI users, or at least a good chunk of the studios I've seen, a lot of them are from overseas that have that special skills coming from, some of them coming from Pixar, some of them coming from European animation project studios. Even in South Korea, Studio Mir and a bunch of other ones have done a lot of CG animation as well. So where we go with that, it's really tough to determine. I hope it does lift everyone up as well too, as we get more specialized skills. And then from there, who knows? But yeah, we are definitely seeing a shift, but at least on what we've seen right now, we're definitely allowing more people to get into anime if you are not Japanese or not just into drawing because of that specialized skill.
So I think that's actually a perfect place to end. Thank you again, Kwok, for two reasons. One, for doing our Q&A, and as he said, and I know he actually got us the film, the world premiere. So once again, please thank you to Kwok. Thank you guys for coming to the closing film of Global Stage Hollywood. Actually, kind of on the comment you just made, I'm assuming that, you know, a lot of the people here are fans of Japan and probably have some interest in working in Japan. So I think it's rather interesting that, you know, Clark mentioned that there are opportunities now for foreign people to work in Japan. So, you know, that's something you definitely should consider. And in order to get to Japan, you need to fly there. And one of our sponsors this year is ANA, All Nippon Airways. And I can tell you that on our website and our Instagram, Global Stage Hollywood, there is a QR code. If you scan the QR code, you sign up for the newsletter, and you get a chance to win 2 tickets to go to Japan. So for anybody who would like to go to Japan and have somebody else pay for it, please go to our Instagram, find the QR code, and sign up. So on top of that, I'd like to say thank you to you. But also, if we have any of our volunteers here, maybe you guys could come down. I'd really like the audience here to give, you know, our volunteers a big round of applause, because the film festival does not happen without our volunteers, and you know, we appreciate them very much. So anybody who is a volunteer, please come down, and we will give all of us a hand together. How about that? So we'll give them a second. We'll come down and give the volunteers to come down. Nobody run down because everybody's tired. We don't want any accidents.
And hopefully we'll get more anime next year.
I'm sure we'll get more.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, come on, give our volunteers a big round of applause. Thank you. And one of our fantastic volunteers reminded me that the QR code is actually at a reception, so as you're leaving, you can bang that guy. So, one last thing. If you guys have any energy, what we'd like to do is a Comic-Con style photo from behind. So if you guys can give us a little bit of energy. I don't know who has a camera, but we'll just do this quickly.
Whose camera are we using?
I don't know. Yeah, we take the poster as well. Once again, I have said it 4 times, I'm going to say it 5, but this is a world premiere that other people won't see for, other than Tokyo, for